the Work Hates podcast. I'm Bron Lewis. This is my co-host, Brady Blake. If you've ever had a job, chances are you've had a horrible boss or dreadful work conditions or an insufferable workmate. And if you've had none of them, chances are you're the problem.
Yeah, it's true.
It's true.
I am the problem.
You are the problem.
I am the problem.
In this.
I don't have a job.
This week we have been joined by the magnificent lawyer. This is Claire Marshall. I went to high school with Claire. She's far more impressive than us, Brett.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I was trying to get the goss on you before, but then you just interrupted, didn't even let Claire finish. You're like, I was beautiful, I was popular, everyone wanted to be me.
I never said that.
I'm pretty sure, and you wouldn't stop talking. I was like, wrap it up, Bronny. We got people to interview today.
Brett usually does the intro, but he would have ruined this one. Claire is super impressive. Has 2 kids. She has been a lawyer for so many years. Divorced.
Hang on a sec. You went me for the Lewis Garnham intro talking about the most beautiful woman alive, and now you're bringing up divorce within 2 minutes.
I know, because I didn't want Claire to feel like, I'm really good. I wanted her to be like, yes, I'm just a human.
Build her up, take her back down.
Exactly.
And then over the next hour, we'll build you back
because
up
it's
again.
not just any lawyer. Like, remember how we had Mike Goldstein on? He was like a corporate lawyer. He just ruined people's lives. Claire's a human rights lawyer.
I don't know what that is, Claire.
It means that how do you explain human rights in a second? It's basically making sure that everybody has equality of opportunity, and that we also have bits about us that we call inalienable, but it actually means that there's things about you that no one can take away.
Awesome.
And we protect them through lots of things like laws and institutions, but it's quite complex, and everybody's rights look different depending on their circumstances.
Wow, I'm already impressed. You're probably the smartest guest we've had on so far.
Absolutely. No, you were. Yes, you are going to be. Here. So Claire and I have been friends since we were about 15, and one of the best things about her is like she's very, very funny. I'm really excited. Also, one of the reasons I wanted to have her on, not because she's funny and smart and divorced. It's because I know Claire has had many, many dreadful work experiences. Am I right, Claire?
So many.
This is fun.
I'm excited.
I also feel like whilst we're all very different people, all 3 of us, I think
I'm pretty sure we're the same.
Equal rights.
I'm a human rights lawyer as well. I didn't pass. I barely got to year 12.
There's no bar. Brady has passed. Let's be honest.
But I have represented myself in court before. Is that impressive?
It is actually.
Just the Melbourne Magistrates one. I refuse to pay parking fines, so I always go to court.
That's fun.
It's so much fun. I've been there 12 times. I love how you're like, that's cute. I actually do serious things, but I just go there and I plead guilty, and they normally let me off. It's quite nice.
Oh, really? You plead guilty, Nelly? That's great.
Yeah, because if you say not guilty, I mean, you would know this. You're a lawyer. I'm telling you about the court of law. Hang on, we got a human rights lawyer on. I'll tell you about the judicial process. Then you got to go back and fight them. But if you go guilty under the circumstances of, and then
of what?
Yeah.
Well,
he was drunk.
Yeah. I was drunk. I was unaware when I left the car, and then I tell a story about why I was parked in a loading zone.
Which is like, what's the most creative you've had to get?
A lady was having a stroke on the side of the road, and I assisted her.
Was that true?
Not commenting. Because this I feels like entrapment. I don't know what this is. And I was a hero, and I was saving this poor little old lady.
She was an old lady having a stroke.
Yes.
Wow.
And then do they ask for evidence?
I had someone write a letter.
Who? She could have.
The guy who owns this bar.
The ghost of the old lady.
I said he saw me.
Well, it's a witness.
Yeah, a witness. Yeah. And then I explained, and the judge is like, well, I said I always call him Your Honour. And they love that, and I always wear like a suit, and I tie my mullet back, and then obviously, and then you go, yes, Your Honour, and they're like, man, this guy's got manners.
French braided mullet.
A French braid? What's a French braid?
It's what you deserve.
Okay, and then they normally let me off.
Oh,
really?
Yeah.
So you don't have to pay anything.
I've had 12 wins. But I wouldn't say they win, but I'd say I get off with the thing. But then I got really fucked over because I went through the same speed camera 12 times in a row, and they couldn't get me off that one. It was a fixed camera, but you know.
Yeah.
12 times.
Yeah, I was late to work
12 times in a row.
12 times in a row. Oh, I think it was 8. And there was the same fixed camera behind this one sign. And then by the time I got, it was like $1,900 worth of fines.
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah. Anyway.
Do you know, every time I get a speeding fine, not a speeding fine, like a parking fine, if I mention it to Claire, she's like, oh, easier, you can get off that easy. Claire knows how to get off all of these things.
Oh my God.
This is what I know. You don't
I
even
need more
have
hints.
You don't even have to go to corporate. You just have to be friends with Claire.
You do need a legitimate reason though. And you have to
like strokes?
Yeah, strokes will do if the old lady is real.
She was real.
Real.
You're on
real.
At some stage in my life, I have helped a lady who was having a stroke. That is not true.
Good.
And some cultures, time is not linear. It's everywhere. So 2 events don't necessarily have to happen at once for them to have occurred.
Exactly.
God, you should be my lawyer. You get me.
We're probably better than you. This is great. So Claire, you've had many jobs. What is the worst job you've ever had?
I scraped my brain for this, but it was nanny to an obscenely wealthy family in Kew, where the house was full of taxidermy and the man had very intense standards. And I worked there for about 6 months with these 2 little girls. They were lovely, but the job was horrible. Horrible.
Taxidermy, by the way, it's one of those things. It's either if you've got a dead animal in your house, you're either really rich or really poor.
Yeah,
it's never a middle ground one. So he was obviously
was
the
it
rich.
bad? I love bad taxidermy. That's my favorite.
Eyes.
Yeah, it's like, why is that cat cross-eyed?
Oh, disgusting. Actually, the Granny Bingo, have you ever gone to Granny Bingo? Oh, it's 2 drag queens or 3 drag queens, and they're based in Melbourne, and they just do a bingo comedy night, and it's very, very funny, except there's one drag queen of the 3 who has a taxidermy cat and gets people to hold it, and it is fucking revolting. I don't know where they got it. I feel like they got it at an op shop, but it's disgusting because it's an actual carcass. So you were working amongst carcasses.
And
you're lucky duck.
Done carcasses. This is the thing about rich people. Even the horrible things are exquisite. So you walked in the door and there was a mounted huge tiger. I'm pretty sure it was a Bengal tiger, just standing there in like this intimidating pose. And
that's actually pretty cool.
There was also a tiger rug. There were elks.
What?
There was a fucking rhino.
No.
In his dressing room, there was a polar bear.
How big is this house? You got a fucking rhino in there.
And a
polar bear?
A mansion. It was the biggest house I've ever been in. No, at some point in history it would be. It is now illegal to import, dead, exotic, endangered animals.
Yeah, but if you've got the carcass before it was illegal, keep the carcass. That's my motto. It's my lower back tattoo. Keep going.
I'm just impressed that you can fit a rhino. I don't have a house at the moment, but the loft I'm staying in above a Scalextric's car system, you couldn't even fit a rhino in there.
He had an expanse of space.
And the kids were not scared of these carcasses.
they've grown up around taxidermy, so I think it was just the vibe of that terrible house. But yeah, he was just a very rigid man. I think he was new money. So, and trying to mix within, the wealth of this particular suburb, which is old money. And so he had really intense ideas about how you present well. So I had a nanny car. I'd take the bus or ride my bike to this job. And then my nanny car was a vintage Rolls Royce that I picked the girls up from the very prestigious school from. And one of my many responsibilities was keeping the uniforms immaculate. So we're talking ironing socks level for little kids, like lower primary school kids, and ironing shirts and things. And he would scream if there was the slightest imperfection because I think he was so worried.
Like at you?
At me, yeah.
Oh my God.
And how old are you at this stage?
I was about 21.
You can't be yelling at people.
I just finished art school. I didn't know what I was doing with my life. I was just very, very lost. And I thought it might be a great career path.
Nannying?
Nannying.
You actually thought that was your career?
For a little while. I wanted to be nanny and midwife.
You are very good at kids. You are very good with kids. And a Chinese lady.
Oh my God.
Did you want to be? Is
no,
that possible?
All the things I'm glad to be. But this
the Rolls Royce would have scared the shit out of me, by the way, because they're fucking like $500,000 car.
Holy dooly, it was beautiful.
It doesn't surprise me that he is from New Money though, because you know when people from New Money, they're just so desperate to show that they're rich. Yeah. Everyone in Perth, by the way, everyone in Perth is New Money.
Yes,
everyone in Perth. So I just
14 jet skis.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that sounds sick.
So
it actually does sound sick. I've got to go back.
I wanted a jet ski for the first time a couple of years ago.
Did you?
It was amazing. I'd always looked at them and like, and I'm like, I get it. Jet skis are amazing.
But then after the 3-hour mark, you're like, this is boring. You want to jump it or something. You know what I mean? The water's flat.
Did you want to jump it?
Yeah.
There you go. See? Different minds, same thought process.
Yes, exactly. Equal rights. So you are very good with children, so I can see why you would want to have been there. But this experience of, I guess, pushing your way into a class that is not yours, because you and I grew up
very
similar,
wealthy.
Very rich.
So
taxidermy.
that's why I could smell his new money. I was like, ooh, you're not one of us.
Disgusting.
But we both
smelled poor.
Claire and I both grew up in Canberra,
right,
and both with large families, just with lots of children in each room. Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
And so you going to this house with with a rhino in it.
I fit right in.
Yeah. You're like, oh, classic. The rhino, I wouldn't have put it there, but that's fine.
Yeah, I'd have it on a different angle and I'd bring the polar bear down. Yeah. But how good's that? It's like, how do I look wealthy? I'll get a polar bear.
And was he a single dad?
He was a single dad.
I can't imagine why.
Yeah. Sounds great. And he had the children.
He did have the children.
Okay,
Mum wasn't in the picture. So, look, I'll give him some generosity. He was doing his best, but
everyone is,
but he was not doing well with it.
And then, and how old were the children? Like
they were
6 and
5
4?
and 7.
Yeah, okay.
At the time I nannied them, so really little. Really
were they
little.
nice kids?
They were really lovely kids. It was actually really sad. After a while, they started calling me mum. And I really, that did not sit well.
That's incorrect.
It was not correct. And,
holy shit.
I didn't know how to manage it. And
were you there every day?
Yeah, all weekdays, every weekday. And so as time went on and I realised that I couldn't do this job anymore because this man was so awful and so volatile and the conditions were so intense, and also the girls caught me smoking heaps, and I was like, don't tell your dad, he'll fire me because I'm really good at boundaries. All 21-year-olds.
Yeah, everyone should tell kids to keep secrets.
Exactly. I'm your mum, don't tell dad.
Please don't dob on mum while you're chain smoking.
I used to smoke so much at that time, back in the day. And so I was building up to leave and quit while these tiny little girls who I'd grown really attached to and, obviously had a strong relationship with me were looking me in the eye and calling me mum. It was complex. I was not qualified.
It would have been confusing for them because they would have expected if you did leave, then you would just end up as a taxidermied woman in the room. They were like, she'll be back.
She'll be back. Frozen solid for time, smoking. Ashtray in the hand, ironing socks or something.
Some wrinkled socks. That's why she's dead.
But I've never actually thought about that. That's a really good point. Like normally when you leave a job, you're like, who gives a fuck, whatever. Yeah. But you're connected to someone because you've been there for a couple of years. So I've never thought of it that way. So that would have been
You didn't
awful.
feel that way about any of the forklifts you left behind?
Look, I still think about some of them. I send them messages at night.
And so when you left, was it a blaze of glory? Did you leave?
It was. I quit. I quit one day, and in a very professional way, I lied about why I was quitting. I was like, I've got a sickness in my family, and I have to go back home forever. And he's like, oh no. And then I just didn't show up for work the next day, so I probably put him in a bit of a spot. But the day before, I'd burned the dinner, and he'd screamed at me in the kitchen while the kids just cowered at the dining table. And I was like, I actually can't show up to this job anymore. I love these kids. I can't do it.
You didn't want to say to him one of the reasons is because you yell at me?
I don't know. I don't think I had any sense of what I was the standards of behavior I was entitled to at that age.
Yes,
so I just
correct.
You don't know. You just cop it.
Yeah,
exactly. That's bullying. Yeah. You don't know.
You're like, this is what all adults must put up with.
And
no wonder the wife left.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh,
I'd worked in hospitality since I was 13 at that point, so I was used to
Michelle's Patisserie. Have you heard of it?
Oh yeah, it's a very special place.
Michelle's Patisserie. Do they have that over here?
No.
Surely.
Is it like Miss Maud's or something?
It's like Donut King, but with vanilla slices instead of donuts.
Oh, yeah, it's exquisite.
Okay, I've got to try it.
It was my first job.
In shopping centres.
Coolman Court, in a white, like a pastry chef's gown.
Oh.
So all 13-year-olds.
Exactly. With my wardrobe. And yeah, we just sell pies and coffees.
This sounds like Miss Maud's.
Yeah.
Oh, does
It's
it?
like the Perth
Okay.
equivalent.
I think it was about $4 an hour.
That is fucking grim.
It is grim.
Do you know, because we're all, I think we're all the same age. The guy
20?
who is, yeah.
And we're fucking looking good. Thank you.
There was a guy before we was chatted to earlier. His name is Lewis Garnham. If you haven't listened, go back and have a listen. Lewis has he's like, I guess he was trying to like shock us with how bad this job was. One of his early ones, he was like, I worked at a pizza place for $9 an hour, and Brett and I were waiting for the story to get good. We were just like, oh yeah. And then, what do you mean $9?
Oh, so you on triple the amount I was on? Okay,
We're like, wow,
interesting.
is this a story where you got paid too well? I don't understand. So yeah, this was at the days where you got paid crap. So $4 an hour, Michelle's patisserie,
It was
very bad.
not a lot of money. I remember feeling so rich. I got a muffin break and I'll be like, I'll have a muffin and a cappuccino. I felt so good.
And you didn't.
Can I pay you in 3 weekly installments?
Yeah, I'll put 9 sugars in it because they're free. Yeah.
I remember when I was 15 and I got, or maybe it was 16, maybe 17, whatever, it doesn't matter. And I was on $11 an hour.
Holy shit.
Spender,
Yeah.
boy.
Yeah.
That's
no.
Sunday rates.
Yeah, I should have had some
every day.
taxidermy stuff around the house and whatever. And then I got another job and they gave me like 15 and I was like,
Holy
I'm doing this
hell.
for life.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I am going to be so fucking rich.
Yeah. What was it?
It was a balustrating company. So I used to make
Okay.
like handrails and all that shit that stops you from falling off balconies and install the glass. And I was like, man, I'm just going to be here for the rest of my life.
Yeah. Well, that's a really important job.
It is an
Yeah.
important job.
So it's like people's safety.
I threw an apple at another employee and got asked to leave. I thought it was funny.
He should have been standing behind
It
the glass.
exploded on his head. Hilarious. The boss saw it and was like, that's the final strike. And I was like, he caught me sleeping underneath the desk the week before. So
Oh, God. But for $15 an hour, you got time to process that, have a little sleep.
I know, it was a beautiful job. I actually missed that job.
Do you?
No.
So if you went back in time, Claire, and said, do you think that you should have, what would you, like if you had that job now and there was someone yelling at you, because you are still you're a very important person, and you have got a very important job, far more important than Bretti's or mine put together. But if you, do you feel like you would treat that differently now? Or because you are quite timid still?
Probably not. I'd probably do the same.
That's so good. With time, you learn. You're like, absolutely not. I'd do the same thing. I'd cop it. I'd be smoking out the back.
I'm really bad at confrontation still, and I'm getting better and better at kind of like, saying this is, if it's systemic, if it's like, a group of people or kind of disadvantaged people in the community, I can speak out and I can be an advocate. But when it comes to myself, I really struggle with being like, hey, please don't do that.
Stop yelling at me.
Or even, just treat me a little bit. It's a real character flaw that I'm trying to work on. Yeah. But yeah, I
just hang around
do
me
the
for a
same
day.
thing.
I just scream at everyone who says anything fucking rude
scary.
to me.
Yeah,
no,
actually,
I don't scream. I'm like,
don't.
who the fuck do you think you're talking to?
Yeah.
I would not cope.
I think that we like to think that we would handle someone yelling at us differently. Like because if you're a grown up and you have children that you're constantly teaching them how to deal with life, when you're put in a position when you're yelled at, you're like, well, obviously I'd be like, hey, don't you speak to me like that. Yeah. But when they do, it's really like you just go back to, personally, I got yelled at. I've probably brought this up every day and I will for the rest of my life. I got yelled at one of my jobs recently by someone, and it stunned me.
Yeah.
Like I was stunned.
I can't imagine you backing down. I thought you'd be me. You'd be like, well, who the fuck do you think you're talking to?
If I've got the microphone and I've got an annoying heckler, I will be like, that's fine. Like the hecklers don't scare me one bit. Like that is fine. But
oh, really?
when you
I'm going to come to one of your shows.
Please.
No.
Please.
You were like, you're a soft man. You got a weak soul. I'm like, I'm so sorry, bro.
But when I was yelled, because it came out of nowhere, and it really shocked me. And because it was like, it wasn't like a don't do that. It wasn't like a tiny little yell. It was yelling for like sentences. And I was like, okay. And because I was so shocked by it, I had this, I wasn't thinking clearly. I was like, I just went silent. because I was like waiting for them to go, fuck. You know when you see, when you watch a kid have a meltdown, you just let them have a meltdown for a while and then let them realise, okay, I'm out of control, and then they cry and it's fine. But so I was waiting for him to stop and cry, but he didn't, and he just kept going. And afterwards, I messaged him and said, I'm really sorry about that.
Oh my
and then
God.
I was like, hey, I'm really sorry I put you in that position. And then afterwards, I talked about it yesterday to my partner. I was like, I still hate that I sent that message. I am still furious about that moment because who yells at someone? I yelled at a kid recently, but that's different.
Is it your kid or is it someone else's?
Someone else's.
That is psychotic.
Well, because they were being mean. They were being mean. They were being mean to Claire's daughter.
Were they?
Yeah, they were being mean, and so I didn't expect it to come out of my face either.
What? Can you tell me the exact situation?
So there was a kid at a park.
I'll be the judge here.
Yeah, great. So there was a kid at a park, and they just had it in for Claire's daughter. For some reason, they were just really targeting Claire's daughter, she's 9 and she's beautiful, and and she's also very
autistic.
Yeah, she's autistic, but she's also very she's just she's not aggressive and she's not a nasty kid and she's not mean at all. She's just one of those. She's like a Labrador. Like really loving. And she was just kind of trying to get on with her time at the park, and this one kid was just going out of their way to be nasty to Claire's daughter. And it was really annoying. So I kept making it being Claire's daughter, come over here and stand with me. Come here. And just trying to get show that kid that I was noticing it. But that didn't annoy this kid. The kid was like, I don't care if you do that. And then Claire's daughter was holding a ball, and the girl went over and was trying to take the ball from her. And so I was so fed up with it that I went, leave her alone!
That would scare the fuck out of me.
I scared myself. And then
did you message yourself as well? I'm so sorry, I shouldn't have done that.
And she stopped, the girl stopped and kind of just walked away, and I don't know what her reaction is from it. I don't know how traumatized she is from it, but I did not expect. I wasn't next time she does it, I'm going to yell. So sometimes you yell when that's probably the most I can relate to yelling at someone.
Were their parents close by? That would have fucking
no.
Their
parents were not close by. They were over the other side.
Okay, get away with it.
How much at work though? I'm just going to keep you guys on topic if that's okay.
Yeah, no, someone needs to. We're 2 kids with ADHD over here.
This is interesting. You're talking about normalising behaviour, and I've worked with lots of different organisations looking at how they treat their staff, how they treat each other, and how it affects the work they do. And so you'll go into some workplaces like the one you're talking about, and you have had an unchecked culture where people are permitted to behave in particular ways. They're reacting to, colleagues and staff, and nobody has ever called him out, and it's become part of the culture that you accept, right?
Yeah.
So with him, that guy, that one that was really awful to you, it's up to the organisation to be like, hey mate, that's not okay. That's actually workplace bullying. It's unacceptable in a modern workplace, and nobody should have to put up with it. But every person who walks past it, especially leadership, they are creating. He's going to do it again and again and again until someone stops him, and that happens everywhere. And it's because people get so preoccupied with productivity and generating money, or ticking KPIs, and they're like, oh, that's a good bloke though. He gets work done. Sometimes he's a dick, but it doesn't matter because he gets it done.
Yeah. Actually, there's lots of people who get away with stuff like that. But in your case, you couldn't complain to anyone except for children.
Exactly.
Hey guys,
didn't care.
Our boss sucks.
Breastfeed me.
Just chatting to the rhino. Does he talk to you like shit as well?
It was just I guess it happens now with the gig economy, with low paid workers. They're really, really vulnerable. There's nobody to go to. So it was that job sucked.
That does sound like a dreadful. I wonder why. So they would, and you paid. What were you paid?
$15 an hour.
Oh, nice.
Hey, that's pretty good.
That's balustrade money over there.
Yeah.
Did you throw an apple at anyone?
Very wealthy.
$15 an hour to raise 2 children.
And
that's incredible.
Cook and clean and the whole thing, which
Drop
is
him at school,
he
pick him
owned.
up.
And I hope this isn't enough to kind of just show who he was. He owned a cleaning company. I was like, dude, I just pay someone to do it. But no, he wanted that kind of Mary Poppins-y vibe. I was too busy smoking to be Mary Poppins.
Yeah, I would imagine just stress smoking out the back.
Oh my God, yep, so
talking to the rhino.
Exactly.
This job sucks.
Also, if you're that loaded and he's getting you to cook food, and it's like, get a chef in.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm just here for the kids. It's a waste of time. I'm here to, make sure they're having a fun time. You know?
Did he want you to live there?
No, there was a home time. I was not to be part of the household. I worked for the household.
That is so bizarre. You were like a maid.
I was a maid.
Wow, you were the help.
I was me.
Wow, and that would be I would really hate that job because I mean now you have to do it for free at your own house.
I know.
But
and they yell at me all the time.
Yeah, I know.
I can't quit.
You can't quit. Yeah, that's the only thing. And no one fucking wants to listen to you complain. There's no way.
No one cares.
No one gives a shit.
You didn't have an abortion, so
sucked in. Your fault. If you went back in time, you wouldn't even stand up for him.
Oh no.
To him.
I just don't have capacity for confrontation.
Yeah.
And because of my role, I have to, be the person who makes those decisions and have been in a senior role for some time. So, I have to do it, put my kind of big girl hat on at work and just be like, this is what's right and this is what's fair. So with my personal life, I'm so depleted of that capacity to have conflict that I'm just like, just do whatever you want.
Oh my
It'll just
God.
go away. It's really bad. It's really bad.
I know. I can absolutely understand that because sometimes it just feels like too much effort. Because even you saying like you should just go and complain. I did go and talk about these, and then the bigger boss was like, "Do you want me to escalate this?" And I just was like, "I can't." Nah.
And you didn't ask for that responsibility, like to go through a complaints process and to carry that and to be the person who called him out. And fuck that. You're also risking your own job stability.
And I have to work with him again.
Exactly. They should have said to you, this is unacceptable. We are going to progress this,
We'll handle it from
here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brittany, have you ever made a professional complaint about someone?
The apple.
It
exploded.
In a guy's face, man. It was so good. It was great. I'm not really I don't really go and complain. I'll go and address it with the person because I don't want. I don't want. Yeah, I don't mind conflict.
In an aggressive way.
No, I'm not shy. So if someone says something fuck to me at work or is rude, I have no qualms just going straight up to them and talking about it and then trying to find a solution. Because sometimes I get understanding with some workplaces that's probably not even professional or whatever. But I'm like, I don't want them to get in trouble. But I'm like, hey, you've crossed the fucking boundary here, or you're being fucking rude, and a lot of the workplaces I worked in are, like at airports, they're forklift jobs. So most of those guys only understand it when you stand up to yourself and I'll fucking punch you in the car park.
Oh my God.
if they know that you're going to throw, you know what I mean?
Professional complaint.
Yeah. No, but it's not that. But it's like, hey, he's standing up for himself. He's not copping shit. I'll fucking ease up on him. So
holy hell.
Wow.
So yeah. Actually, I reckon that's the same in a lot of ways, in a lot of jobs where I'm actually trying to teach my kids this at the moment. If you let someone walk all over you,
to beat someone up in a car park,
then beat them up in the car park.
They won't do it, yeah.
Get an apple, chuck it at their
Chuck it at
head.
their face.
Bert's the best mum I know. It is. It's about if you let someone walk all over you, and then when you go, do you know what? I've had enough. This is not okay. It takes them by surprise because they're like, "What? I've treated you like shit for ages. Why are you?" And so they don't really get it. So you have to stand up for you do have to have a standard of how you want to be treated from the start. Otherwise,
and get on it quick. The quicker you're on it, they're like, "Oh fuck," you know what I mean? You've crossed the fucking line.
Do you reckon you learn anything from that job?
Nah. How to iron a man's shirt.
Oh, and socks. I've never ironed a sock.
Oh God, everything. I'm a good ironer now. But
I don't even own an iron.
Huh?
I don't even own. I've never owned an iron.
Why are you saying that? I'd be surprised.
I don't.
It's a secret.
I don't understand. What do you need to iron?
I don't iron anything either.
I mean, I wear the same clothes, just black jeans and a black shirt everywhere. But what do you need an iron for?
Do you iron things still?
I iron sometimes.
You've got fancy clothes.
I need to go to my job.
Yeah, that's the difference between you and Brett and I.
You're employed and people respect you.
So you didn't learn anything personally from that job?
I don't think I was at the right stage of my life to learn anything personally because it had been so normalised in my experiences of work to just be kind of subject to things. Honestly, it probably has only been in the last 9 years or so when I realised that you should expect a certain standard of behaviour professionally, and that's more about kind of learning about the law and entitlements and rights. But personally, I'm miles away from being like, yeah, you should treat me good.
Which is bananas because you're a big boss lady.
Big.
Yeah, God. I mean, if you gave me a job, I'd just walk all over you. So would Brett.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what workplace you're in. I'm like, I'm going to be the boss now, you know?
I'm the boss now. Brett just drives his forklift over you.
Picking apples.
Where you
bash you up in the car park.
where you'd catch me out is like, hey, can you read this law? And I'm like, no, I'm not a reading guy. You have the job. I'll get me back into the hour.
Oh, shit.
Well, Claire, thank you so much for coming on. This has been Work Hates Podcast. This has been Claire Marshall, Brady Blake, Bron Lewis. Thanks so much.
Make sure you follow us on all the social medias, like, subscribe, and all that boring shit. Goodbye. I've been fired from a lot of places. I've been fired from so many places.
I went into the class one day, real bullets. Kill me.